Good morning, everyone. This is the morning after the TTS before. We had our first main foundation session last night. It went really well. Thank you everyone for turning up. I just thought I'd make these morning after videos because maybe you were there and you need a refresher. Maybe you weren't there and you'd like to know what was said. Maybe this will, whet your appetite and you might want to come next time. Either way, our session last night was focused on the first two words of the Nicene Creed. Our foundation sessions are structured using the Nicene Creed. We're not studying the Nicene Creed, we're using it as our skeleton. And the first two words of the Nicene Creed are, we believe. The question for us as we embarked upon this journey together was, right, what is theology? Why do we do theology at all? Why is it important? Because you see, theology is a bit of a potential stumbling block for some. Some people, for example, would say, well, it's irrelevant, it's got nothing to do with my life. Some people would say, it's not for me, I'm not an intellectual type, I'm not academically gifted. Some people would say it's pharisaical, it's all about people laying down the law. Other people would say it's divisive, it tears churches apart. And you can totally understand then why theology is seen as a big self-indulgent distraction. Literally, right? Literally. Think about this. If I were to describe you as doctrinaire, I wouldn't be meaning anything positive. I would mean that you're academic or pedantic or whatever. If I said that I have been indoctrinated, again, nothing positive. I mean that I've been brainwashed. So even the language that we use suggests, well, theology is, again, this big self-indulgent distraction. I just want to quote something from Helmut Thielich. He's a German theologian. He's professor of systematic theology at Hamburg University in Germany. And he, in his book, A Little Exercise for Young Theologians, is imagining a return home for several theological students, and they come back to their church Bible study, and the people in the Bible study are just overwhelmed by their pedantry and their disconnectedness from real life. And in this imagined encounter, one of the people from the church says this: "Although my fate and my life were at stake, those others came at me with their routine. I found in them no trace of life or truths learned by experience. I smelled only corpses of lifeless ideas. I was looking for a Christian in whom I could detect a flame. I found only burnt-out slag." That's pretty brutal, right? But it communicates this sense that theology is seen as a big self-indulgent distraction and can be damaging to some. The problem is that when we look at scripture, we read such passages as this from Isaiah 42, verse 21. "The Lord was pleased, for the sake of his righteousness, to magnify his teaching and make it glorious." To magnify his teaching, to make it glorious. Clearly then, some translations say law or revelation. It's still the same thing. What God has revealed, he has chosen to magnify and make it glorious. So clearly there's something more going on. So let's just agree on this definition. Theology concerns itself with speech about God, with the speech of God, as well as our experiences with God. So what must we conclude then? Well, we can't afford to dismiss theology out of hand. There's too much of a blessing here that we can't afford to just pass over it. You see, God chooses to make theologians out of all his children. I've got a PhD in the subject. It doesn't matter. I don't own theology. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to all of God's children. It belongs to you. He makes theologians of all his children. And he wants to use it to bless us, and he wants to use it for his purposes, for his own glory and for our joy. Let's dig into this a little bit more. Why would God make us theologians? Why would he do this? Well, God is on a mission. He wants to see souls come to him and be united to Christ, and so he wants us to know that which we defend. We can't defend that which we don't understand, right? Makes sense? He's also created us in his image. So as Jesus says in Matthew 22, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Well, there's a very good reason there. We've been created in his image, and part of that involves reason. And so he wants us not to check our brains at the door, but to use them for his glory. But most of all, and this is a key point, God makes us theologians because God himself is a theologian. Remember our definition before. Theology is concerned with speech about God, with the speech of God, as well as our experiencing life with God. And God is in the business of speaking about God. God is in the business of his own speech, of his own word, and he's in the business of experiencing life with us, of being Emmanuel, God with us. God himself is concerned with the very subject matter of theology. God himself is a theologian. We're just following in his lead. Psalm 36 verse 9 says, "For with you is a fountain of life. In your light we see light." God is the reason with which we reason. God is the nous with which we have nous. God is the light with which we see light. And so for all the different reasons why we might be theologians, this is the best and most supreme of them all. God himself is a theologian. And that's why Theology That Sings exists. We want to be theologians together. We want to be equipped for mission and ministry, and we want to learn to love God more. We'd love to see you at our next session. October 21st, 4:30 p.m, arrive a little bit before, at Freedom Church, Chester. We'd love to see you there. We're going to be examining the next part of the Nicene Creed, in one God, the Father, the Almighty. Who is God? What is God? What is the creator-creature distinction? Why is it important? We'd love to see you there. But hey, that's enough for this morning. Hope you guys have a great week and a great day, and I'll see you soon.